Today I'm continuing my Slate coaster series, but this one is different. This is not just another coaster project video. I wanted to test the advice people give for engraving Slate coasters and sort it into 3 buckets: what is worth doing, what is optional, and what is just wasting your time. And I almost ran out of coasters before I even started, so I ended up sending off old test engravings to save the project. Tiny stone coasters, big drama, you know the drill. All right, let's go. Quick scope so we stay focused. I use xTOOL Studio, and I know a lot of you do too. So I will show you this in xTOOL terms to keep things simple. If you use Lightburn or another setup, the core ideas in this video still apply. This video is about preparation choices before engraving, and finish choices after engraving, and figuring out which ones are actually worth your time on Slate coasters. I also want to show whether reclaimed sanded coasters are still good enough for testing, because that ended up becoming part of the story. And I will close the loop from my last 3D Zoom Animals coaster video with a 3D Lion test update. Oh yeah, and I ran a quick real-world lacquer versus raw slate coaster test at home, and the result was not what I expected. I'll show you later in the video. This is a practical video, not a full photo engraving masterclass, not a full software lesson, and not a full laser review. We're going to keep this focused so it is actually useful. So here's the real production problem. I did not have unlimited coasters for testing. And because I wanted to do test grids and comparisons, I needed more material. So I tried sanding off previous test engraving. I started with 120 grit. This is my go-to, my default grit. I was going to say this is my favorite grit, but I think it sounds a bit odd to have a favorite sandpaper grit. But just in case, what is yours? Anyway, 120 grit worked, but it took too long. So I switched to 80 grit, and that went a lot faster. In my case, around 5 minutes. Now, very important trade-offs. Some of my old test engravings were very deep. I was able to remove them, but I also removed a lot of material. The coasters got thinner. They also lost texture and became much smoother. So yes, this works, but it absolutely changes the surface, and this produced a lot of dust. For sanding, I used a rotary palm sander connected to my vacuum at full power. I wore my PPE, mask, gloves, and ear protection. And of course, I opened the garage door. So here's the honest takeaway. If your goal is to preserve the original slate texture exactly, this is probably not your favorite method. You can go light with the sanding and see if you can keep some of the texture, but it will not be a for sure thing. Plus, I don't know if I like it. Just a few token lines on a flat surface, I'm not sure. Anyway, if your goal is to recover coasters only for testing, this can help your project. And that is exactly what I needed here. One thing I want to be clear about. My goal here is not to make every sanded coaster look brand new. My goal was to make them useful again for material testing. You know, if I don't watch it, doing material testing or test grids can eat through your coaster stack faster than you think. So if reclaimed coasters can handle test engraving, that is already a big win. This is one of those shop reality things that is not glamorous, but it's very practical. Now let's take a quick breathing stop here. If this is already helping, do me a quick favor and hit that like and subscribe. It helps a lot. And it tells me you want more practical testing videos like this. Before I get into the prep and finish details here are a few basics that are absolutely worth doing. First, clean the slate before engraving. I like using alcohol because it does a great job removing oils and dirt. The only reason I go with alcohol is because the slate can take a little bit long to dry and alcohol evaporates pretty quickly. You know, I'm always in a hurry. And just as important, clean the slate after engraving before you judge the results. Slate dust can make the engraving look worse than it really is until you wipe it down. So clean it, get some good lighting, and decide from there. Before we move on, I want to do one quick comparison because people ask about this too. I usually clean the coasters first, but I wanted to test one clean coaster against one that was not cleaned first, just to see what happens on this batch. This is not a universal rule test, and your results can be different if your coasters are dirtier or have more oils on them. It is just a quick reality check. On this quick test, here's what I saw. It is totally worth it to do a quick wipe, a quick clean to get better results. I still recommend cleaning it first because it is a simple habit that removes oils and dirt, and it helps avoid random problems. Another big one is that slate coasters can vary a lot from batch to batch, and even inside the same batch. Thickness can change, size can change, shape can change. I have a couple that were visibly smaller and not even square. That's why I recommend focusing and measuring as often as you can manage. And of course, at any time you switch batches or brands. And of course, framing helps a lot too. Framing is one of those boring steps that can save you from exciting mistakes, especially when some coasters are smaller or not even square, as I was saying. And finally, start with the recommended settings. Then run a material test on your actual slate. Who knows, you might like the default settings. In my case, I wanted to go a little faster, so I kept tweaking until I found a setting that worked for me. That is a much better use of your time than copying one random setting online and hoping for magic. For this test, I wanted to keep the image consistent so the comparisons stay fair. So I'm using the same image through most of the video, the Leo zodiac sign lion image, which is a vector design I made earlier using AI Make. I have shown it before, and it also ties back to my AI Make video, so if you missed that one, I will link it in the description. And of course, in that video, I actually use a cork coaster rather than stone. Anyway, using one image helps keep the test honest because we're comparing the process, not the different artwork. Before engraving, here are the prep details. This is the same coaster material, but 3 different prep choices I wanted to show: raw slate, lacquer prep, and black paint. I'm not treating this as equal recommendations. In my case, I think raw is the practical baseline. The others are optional style routes people use, and I want to show them as examples so you can see what changes. Why raw slate first? Because it gives you the fewest variables. No extra coating, no paint layer, no extra prep products, just a stone, your settings, and your machine. For raw slate, I stick to a simple routine. It is not exciting, but it works. First, I clean the coaster. Nothing fancy, I'm just trying to get the oils and dust off so I'm not testing dirt by accident. Then I run a material test grid, because slate can be weird, and I would rather learn that on a test box than on my final design. Once I see what looks good on this batch of slate, I pick a setting that I can actually use again, and then I engrave the real coaster. After that, I wipe it down, and only then I judge the final results. Slate loves to leave dust behind, and dust lies. For a lot of coaster projects, the best workflow is not maxing everything out. It is finding something that looks good and repeats well. That's a huge difference. Now let's talk about a couple of optional prep routes people use. Some people prepare the surface before engraving with coatings or paint. And that is what I'm showing here with lacquer and black paint. I also want to say this clearly, because not everyone can or should use spray products. Health concerns, ventilation, and workshop setup all matter. So these are optional style choices, not required steps. For lacquer, I'm doing the test grid to see how the surface responds and how the look changes. What I care about here is not just whether it looks cool. I care about readability, glare, and whether the extra step feels worth it for the result. And for black paint, well, it's the same idea. I wanted to show it because I have heard people do it. And it is a valid choice for some workflows. But in this video, it is a show and tell example, not a main recommendation. Test grids first, see how it behaves, then decide if it fits your goals and your workspace. Now for the finish reveal, right after engraving. Some people like to leave slate raw from start to finish. Others like to engrave on raw slate and then apply a finish afterwards. So here I want to show 3 looks after engraving. Left raw, lacquer finish, and mineral oil finish. Many people recommended mineral oil. I tried it, but I'm not doing a full mineral oil test here. I'm just showing it as one more finish option some people like after engraving. One quick story before we wrap the lacquer question, because people have strong opinions on this stuff. I ran my own very unscientific but very real test. For the last couple of weeks, I have been using 2 slate coasters at home for the same job, holding a glass of ice water. One coaster was raw slate, the other had lacquer. When I ended the test, I wiped both clean to see if they could go back into rotation. They both cleaned up easily, but the raw slate clearly came out better. No marks, no weird surprises here. So if your goal is a coaster that stays looking clean with everyday use, raw slate quietly wins in my house. This is where personal preference really comes in. Different people like different looks, and that is completely fine. The main point is to know which steps are optional style choices and which steps are the practical baseline. Quick note before somebody asks, because this always comes up. Yes, photo engraving on slate coasters is definitely doable, I have engraved photos on coasters before, and I also mentioned some of those during my last live stream. I'm just showing off a couple of them here so you can see it is possible. Now, I did use paint as my foundation, but I know it's doable on raw stone or lacquer stone. Most people starting out with slate coasters will probably use vectors. At least that is what I would recommend right now. Photo engraving is a different workflow. There are a couple of variables that you have to understand, like LPC and bitmap mode, before you get good results. For now, I'm keeping this video focused on prep, setup, and finish choices. So after doing all of this, here's where I landed. The things that feel worth doing every time are the simple ones. Clean the coaster before engraving, clean it again before judging the results, and test the slate that you actually have instead of assuming one setting from the internet is going to behave the same on your machine. Reclaimed coasters are also a win for testing, as long as you accept the trade-off that sanding can make them thinner and smoother. For test grids, though, that is a very practical save. And to be honest, I'm kind of liking this smooth look to it. I can see the appeal. The optional stuff is the style stuff. Lacquer prep, black paint prep, lacquer after engraving, mineral oil after engraving. Those can all be interesting, and they can make sense for the look you want, but they also add variables and more time. So I would not start there unless you already know your raw slate baseline. And the easiest way to waste time is changing too many things at once, or copying somebody else's exact settings and expecting the same results. I think Slate is just too inconsistent for that. And if you're comparing notes across different machines and software, be careful with units and terminology so your test doesn't turn into a mystery. Now, let me do a quick callback for the people who watch my 3D zoo animal coaster video. In that one, I said I wanted to test a little more defocus and a higher LPC. Specifically, try and minus 1.5 millimeter defocus instead of -1, and try and 180 LPC instead of 160 LPC. I finally tested it, and I wanted to show you the results here to close that loop. This is the 3D Lion test update. I'm not turning this video into a full 3D engraving breakdown, but I wanted to follow through on what I said I would test. The minus 1.5 millimeter defocus is a win. Changing the LPC, there's no point. 160 works just fine. Also changing the bitmap mode, there's no need for that. Grayscale is the way to go. So 13 power, 240 speed, 160 LPC, grayscale as the bitmap mode, and a 1.5 defocusing is the way to go. Tell me what you think. Check this out. I know I have my favorite. Tell me which one is yours. So if I had to give practical recommendations from this video, here's where I landed. If you're short on coasters, sanding all engravings off can give you useful test coasters. Just know that they may get thinner and smoother. They still look great, but again, as with most things, it's a personal choice there. If you want the simplest and most repeatable path, start with raw slate. Clean it, test it, engrave it, and clean it again before judging the results. Then apply lacquer, mineral oil, or leave it raw, or do something else that will bring it to the next level and you love it. The prep and finish extras can be fun and they can look great, but treat them as optional style choices, not requirements. Before I wrap up, I want to give you a quick teaser for the next video. I want to do a separate video on IR modules and whether they're a smart way to expand beyond wood engraving without spending big right away. So check out this finished coaster that I did with a 2-watt IR module and tell me what you think. This one I did with a diode version, but I'm still saving the full comparison and the buying question for that next video. As always, I will have links in the description for the tools and materials I use, including the stuff from this project and the AI Make video. Some of those may be affiliate links, which means they can generate a small commission for me at no extra cost to you. And that really helps support the channel. And a quick thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And if you want to join me on Patreon, even in the free tier, you're welcome there too. I hope this video helps you save some time, save a few coasters, and avoid a couple of bad tests rabbit holes. All right, that's it for me. Keep testing, keep building, and keep it simple until you have a reason to complicate it. This is Alex for Saverna Build. I will see you on the next one.